today's video, I am going to discuss you a case-based question where a 65-year-old male patient diagnosed with congestive heart failure uses two drugs, so here furosemide and captopril. After using these two medicinal drugs, the patient has a certain onset of symptoms. What are the sudden onset of symptoms? The first one is the increased frequency of urination, second one is the nausea, headache, and the third one is the sweating, and the fourth one is the he have fainted while walking to the toilet. So in my today's video, I am going to explain you the causes of all these sudden onsets. But before knowing the causes of all these symptoms, you will have to first know the action and effects of furosemide and also the action and effects of captopril, and on the basis of this you will be easily able to understand the causes of sudden onset of the symptoms. So please watch till the end. Friends, see there. So here the patient uses captopril and furosemide. So here these two medicinal drugs used, and also here one thing that you should know that here that is captopril is also known as ACE inhibitor because it inhibits the function of ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme. And also you should know that what are the sudden onset symptoms occur. So here immediately or after 2 hours of taking medicines. So here the first one is the passing increased quantity of urine, or you can say that increased frequency of urination same. And second, so here feeling of weakness and nausea. And the third one is the sweating, and the fourth one is the fainted while walking to the toilet. So that's all. So in this video again, so once again that is all these causes I am going to discuss. So stay tuned. And also, so first of all I am going to discuss here actions and effects of ACE inhibitors. So friends, now I am going to discuss what are the actions and effects of furosemide drug. But before knowing the action of furosemide drug, you should know the action of ascending limb of loop of Henle, because that this furosemide drug acts on the ascending limb of loop of Henle. So the action, so here that this is a tubular cell of the ascending limb of loop of Henle, and this is the luminal membrane, and this is towards the lumen, and this is the, you can see that, so this is the basolateral membrane, and this is towards the blood. So first of all that you should know that this is a sodium potassium chloride co-transporter, and this sodium potassium chloride co-transporter, so here transports sodium, potassium and chloride ions from lumen of the ascending limb of loop of Henle into the tubular cell. Now again, so here some of the potassium ions, so here again, so here get resecreted into the filtrate, that is through the potassium channel. See that is potassium channel located in the luminal membrane. So this is the case or the situation happens in the luminal membrane. Now again you see that in the basolateral membrane, that is sodium potassium ATPase is located, and this sodium potassium ATPase, so here that is transport, so here sodium ions from the tubular cell into the blood, and potassium ions from blood into the tubular cell. Now so here some of the potassium ions again, so here retransported into the blood, and some of the potassium ions, so here again secreted into the lumen through the potassium channels. And here both these situations happen in such a manner that the normal potassium serum level is maintained, and it is 3.5 to 4.5 milliequivalent per liter. Now and again, so here chloride ions also get transported into the blood through this chloride channel located on the basolateral membrane. So now the main aim or the main summary that I want to show is that for the action of furosemide, you have to just only remember that this sodium potassium chloride co-transporter is essential for the a reabsorption of sodium ions, and also that the sodium potassium ATPase is also essential for the reabsorption of sodium ions. And when, so here sodium ions, so here again, so here again reach in the blood, then automatic, so here water, then automatic, so here water follows the sodium ions, because water always follows sodium. So therefore in this way reabsorption of sodium ions done, and also so here water reabsorption is also done in this situation. So this is a normal action of furosemide. That is a normal action of the thick ascending limb of loop of Henle. So now I'm going to discuss what is the action of furosemide. See that this drug furosemide, so here it inhibits just, so here sodium potassium chloride co-transporter. As a result, that is the transport of sodium, potassium and chloride ions, so here is not done. As a result, that is sodium ions, so here potassium ions, and here chloride ions, so here again, so here excreted into the filtrate. So this is the main aim. So therefore that I have written that. See that by seeing this you can realize, so here that this furosemide, see that this furosemide enters the tubular lumen via that is organic acid transporter, how it enters, but this is the main, that is furosemide inhibits the sodium potassium chloride transporter. See that, so here that this is the drug furosemide and it is inhibiting that is sodium potassium chloride co-transporter, and this is located in the luminal membrane of the ascending limb of loop of Henle. Again, so as I have already mentioned, so a reabsorption of sodium and chloride ions decreased. Why decreased? Because as I already mentioned that especially for the reabsorption of sodium ions, that this sodium potassium chloride co-transporter and that this sodium potassium ATPase both are essential. Now if any one of these is inhibited or the actions of any one of these transporters is blocked, so then the reabsorption sodium ion will be affected. So now since this furosemide drug inhibits the action of the sodium potassium chloride co-transporter, so therefore that is reabsorption of sodium ions is inhibited, so and also chloride ions. So therefore I written that reabsorption sodium and chloride ions decreased. And also that in the filtrate that sodium potassium chloride concentration increases, and due to increase in sodium concentration in the filtrate, yes, water also increases in the filtrate. Why? Because water always follows sodium ions. Now here I mentioned that, so initially sodium ions were there, so therefore water goes, but here in this case, so therefore that sodium ions is in the lumen, so therefore water, sodium ions in the lumen, so therefore water will also be there in the lumen. That is both sodium ion and water will be there in the lumen, because that is water follows sodium ions and sodium ions in the lumen. So therefore that I have written that due to this, so here that is sodium ion concentration increases in the filtrate, and also water also increases as water follows sodium ions, and due to increase in the water that in the filtrate, so therefore urine outflow increases, and this causes diuresis. So therefore that is furosemide causes diuretic. So the main action of furosemide is to cause that is diuresis. Now, so on the basis of the action you can easily understand the effects. So see that the first effect is the increase of urine outflow. Why urine outflow? Because of the diuretic action of furosemide, as it increases the urine outflow in the filtrate. And second, hypotension, that due to increased secretion of sodium ions and water, and also that a decrease in blood volume and serum sodium level, that is the blood volume decreases and serum sodium level decreases, so therefore as a result hypotension occurs. So these are the effects of, so here, furosemide. So friends, so for knowing the actions and effects of ACE inhibitors, you should know what are the actions and effects of ACE, that is angiotensin converting enzyme. So before knowing the actions and effects of this angiotensin converting enzyme, you should know this, so here sequence of reaction. So first of all that you should know that is angiotensinogen, it is released by liver. Then this angiotensinogen, it is converted to angiotensin 1 by the enzyme renin, and this renin is released by kidney. And then this angiotensin 1 is converted to angiotensin 2 by the enzyme ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme. And this angiotensin converting enzyme, so here that is causes the conversion of both angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2 and also that is bradykinin to inactive products. And this angiotensin converting enzyme, it is released by lungs. And then this angiotensin 2, so here binds with its angiotensin 2 receptor to cause axons. So these are the main points that you should know. And also that is I written that ACE, that means angiotensin converting enzyme, and also you can relate by seeing this. So here type of equation that is ACE, so here converts both angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2 and also bradykinin to inactive products. So see I written, so here angiotensin converting enzyme causes conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2 along with the conversion of bradykinin to inactive products. So these are the main points. And also I have mentioned that this angiotensin 2, so here binds with its receptor to cause the, so here actions of angiotensin 2. So now I am going to discuss what are the actions of angiotensin 2. So see that, so first of all that is actions of angiotensin 2. First on heart, that is on heart it increases force of contraction and also increases heart rate. Next on blood vessels, so here that is angiotensin 2 causes vasoconstriction. And on kidney, so here it increases reabsorption of sodium and water, or you can say, so here it increases retention of sodium and water. Now on adrenal gland, it stimulates the release of aldosterone, and on hypothalamus it stimulates thirst center to increase thirsty, and on a nervous system it stimulates sympathetic activity. So these are the actions of angiotensin 2. And also so here that is actions of bradykinin, first to cause headache and to cause nausea. So friends, by seeing this equation you can relate that all the actions of, so here angiotensin 2, so here that is done by, indirectly done by this ACE, because that this ACE is responsible for the conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2, first. And second, you should also know that all the, so here negative or the bad effects of this bradykinin are inhibited by this ACE. Why? Because this ACE, so here converts bradykinin into inactive products. So that is, so here adverse effects like nausea and headache are reduced. So therefore, after understanding that these two concepts, the actions of, so here basically angiotensin 2 and also so here actions of bradykinin, and you can easily understand what are the actions of that is ACE. So that is angiotensin converting enzyme, first that is to increase force of contraction of heart and to increase heart rate. So again this is the action on heart. Second, to cause vasoconstriction of blood vessels. Number third, to increase reabsorption of sodium ions in water. Number 4, to stimulate the release of aldosterone. Number 5, to increase thirsty. And number 6, that is to stimulate sympathetic activity. And number 7, that is to prevent headache and nausea. Why? Because that this ACE converts, so here that this ACE converts bradykinin into inactive products. So all the effects, that is adverse effects of bradykinin are reduced. That means headache and nausea are prevented. So therefore these are the actions of ACE. So now after understanding the actions of ACE, you can easily understand what are the actions of that is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, ACE inhibitors. So simply that is by seeing this, that is ACE inhibitors, you should know that this ACE inhibitors, so here inhibit the action of, so this is the ACE inhibitors. See, so that means ACE inhibitors, so here inhibit the action of angiotensin converting enzyme, or it, so here that is inactivate ACE. So therefore that is you can relate that So here ACE inhibitors, so here do actions which are opposite with respect to the ACE. So therefore that is I have simply so here written that so here actions of ACE inhibitors. So first of all you should know that all these actions of ACE inhibitors they are opposite with respect to ACE. So first that is on heart, that is to decrease force of contraction of heart and to decrease heart rate. As ACE, so here increases force of heart, contraction of heart and also heart rate. It increases, but here ACE inhibitors here decrease force of contraction of heart and also decrease heart rate. And this ACE so here causes vasoconstriction of blood vessels, whereas that this ACE inhibitors cause vasodilation of blood vessels. And this is so here that is increases sodium and water reabsorption. That means that this ACE inhibitors so here that is decreased reabsorption of sodium and water. And also that this so here ACE so here stimulates the release of aldosterone, so therefore ACE inhibitors so here inhibits the release of aldosterone. So similarly on the basis of that I have written that is to inhibit the release of aldosterone, and 5 to decrease thirsty, and 6 that is to cause parasympathetic activity and to cause nausea, vomiting and headache. So now I am going to discuss what are the effects of ACE inhibitors. So now the first one is the hypotension, and why hypotension occurs that due to the vasodilatation of blood vessels and decreased reabsorption of sodium, iron and water. And second that is to cause nausea and headache. Why? As I have already mentioned that this so here ACE so here that is ACE inhibits so here or prevents vomiting, headache and nausea. But here that is ACE inhibitors, so here they will cause nausea and vomiting by causing the formation of bradykinin. So therefore as bradykinin formation done due to inhibition of ACE, and this bradykinin causes so here that is nausea and headache. And third that is a decrease of HR, heart rate and force of contraction. And if you want to know that is how is bradykinin caused, see this. So here that this ACE so here converts bradykinin into an inactive product, but that this ACE inhibitors that is opposed action, so therefore that is bradykinin is not converted into inactive products. So therefore that this bradykinin that is actions of bradykinin that is headache and nausea are caused. So therefore that is I have written that so here that is to cause nausea, vomiting and headache. And also so you are finding all the effects of ACE inhibitors: hypotension, nausea, headache, and also that is a decrease of heart rate and also decrease in force of contraction of heart. So these are the main effects of ACE inhibitors. So friends, so now I am going to discuss what are the causes of the sudden onset of symptoms so here found in the patient. And the sudden onset of symptoms found in the patient, they are first that is increased frequency of urination, and second nausea, vomiting, sweating, and finally last so here fainting while going to the toilet. So these are the so here sudden onset of symptoms so here found in the patient. But before understanding that is all these causes, you should know just one that is question. So here a simple concept, that is why does blood pressure increase on moving from that is lying to standing position. So before this, so here see this image. So by seeing this image you can relate that on lying down position the blood volume is equally distributed. So in that manner that is the blood supply to all the organs like heart, brain, limbs is maintained, and that blood supply is maintained, so therefore the required amount of blood to the brain is done. So therefore no problems like fainting occurs on lying down position. But on standing position, due to action of gravity, the blood volume so here that is increases in the lower limbs. Why the blood volume increases in the lower limbs? Due to the pulling action of gravity. So therefore the blood tends to remain more in the lower limbs. Now so in this case the blood supply to the brain is reduced. So if the required amount of blood supply to the brain is not done, in that case, so we have problems related to fainting can occur. But the body that is compensates this problem. So normally that this, so here problem can be compensated. How? So here by doing vasoconstriction, by stimulating, that is, so here sympathetic activity, and due to vasoconstriction blood pressure increases and the, so here blood supply to the brain is done. So all these portions I have written. See that on lying down position the blood volume is equally distributed, so all the organs including heart, brain, hands, legs get equal amount of blood. But on standing position the blood supply to the heart and brain is reduced, so due to the action of the gravity. But to compensate this problem, the body activates sympathetic nervous system, that is to increase blood pressure, and this is the process, so here by which blood pressure is increased due to sympathetic activity. So first of all, as you know that, so here on, so here that is changing position from lying to standing, that is blood supply to the brain is reduced, so therefore that is sympathetic nervous system activity increased, and as a result vasoconstriction of blood vessels done, and due to the vasoconstriction of blood vessels, so here blood pressure increases, that means BP increases, and due to increase in, so here BP blood pressure, so here the blood supply to brain is increased. As a result the required amount of blood, so here required to the brain for the action is supplied, and the brain functions normally and no fainting problems occurs. So see, so here low blood supply to brain, so here increase sympathetic nervous system activity, so therefore next vasoconstriction of blood vessels, increase in BP, and then increase blood supply to the brain. So this is a normal mechanism, that is why does the blood pressure of a person, so here increase on moving from a lying to standing position. So now I am going to discuss you the, so here causes of the sudden onset of symptoms. So first I am going to discuss, that is why does the patient, so here pass increased quantity of urine after using the medicine, so here captopril and furosemide. So friends, as you already know that there is an effect of furosemide, that is it increases urine outflow. Why it increases urine outflow? Due to the diuretic action of furosemide. And here what is the diuretic? Here this is a diuretic action, that is furosemide inhibits sodium potassium chloride co-transporter, so therefore reabsorption of sodium and chloride ions decreases, and in the filtrate, so here sodium and chloride concentration increases, and due to increase in sodium concentration in the filtrate, water concentration also increases as water follows sodium ion, so therefore urine outflow increases, so therefore diuresis is done, and due to the diuretic action of furosemide, so therefore urine outflow increases. So therefore that I have written that due to the diuretic action of furosemide, as furosemide increases sodium and water secretion in the filtrate, and this increases urine outflow. This is the first reason. And second, so here I'm going to explain, that is why does patient have weakness and nausea. So friends, as you already know that in this case captopril is an ACE inhibitor, and this, so here that is the effect of ACE inhibitor, as you already know, that is to cause nausea and headache. And why nausea and headache are caused? Because as bradykinin formation due to the inhibition of ACE is done, because bradykinin form. Why? Because of the inhibition of AC, and this bradykinin causes nausea, vomiting and headache. So therefore that I have written, so here that due to the action of bradykinin, and this bradykinin causes headache, weakness and nausea. So friends, as you already know that on changing position from lying to standing, so here that is the blood pressure increases. And how is blood pressure increases? So here by stimulating, so here sympathetic nervous system activity, and this, so here that is stimulates, so here vasoconstriction, as a result blood pressure increases and blood supply to the brain is also increased. But this medicine, so here furosemide and captopril, so here that they inhibit vasoconstriction. So by inhibiting vasoconstriction, so they cause vasodilatation and also inhibit the increase of the, so here increase of BP, that is blood supply. blood pressure. As a result, that is the increased supply to the brain is also so therefore reduced. So therefore basically the required amount of blood supply to the brain is also not provided. As a result, that is the brain function deteriorates and the fainting occurs. So therefore all this situation I have written there. So here basically fainted while walking to the toilet. So here this happens at night when the patient stands directly from a lying down position. So normally fainting does not occur on moving from lying down a position to standing position, as a normal blood supply to the brain maintained through vasoconstriction of blood vessel, which increases BP. But as I've already mentioned that these drugs, so here medicines which patients has taken, that these medicines, so here that inhibit vasoconstriction of blood vessels, so therefore that they inhibit this increase in blood pressure. So therefore basically increase of blood supply to brain is also reduced. So therefore all these things they are so here inhibited, so therefore blood supply to brain is also inhibited. So all these portions are written. See that, so here in this case due to the vasodilatation action of furosemide and captopril, so here vasoconstriction inhibited. So no increase in blood pressure BP occurs, so the required amount of blood to the brain is not supplied, so therefore fainting occurs. So therefore you have understood why fainting occurs and why nausea, headache and also increased outflow occurs to the patient. And now I am going to explain that is why patient has sweating. So as you know that normally through the action of sweating, so here electrolytes are lost, electrolytes like sodium are lost. And also if you want to know the action of see friends, see that this ACE inhibitor that they decreases, so here reabsorption of sodium ions, and also that is furosemide also, so here decreases, so here basically blood volume and serum sodium level. So therefore that this furosemide and captopril that they want to so here reduce the electrolytes present in the body. And also so this is the main action, and through sweating also this can be done. So therefore that I have written, so therefore that is the action of furosemide and captopril is to reduce electrolytes, so here sodium concentration in the blood. As you have already seen that this, so here that they decrease the so here serum sodium level. So this is the main action, and through sweating that this action can also be done. So therefore patient has sweating, also that is sweating. So now I am going to explain that. So finally I have explained that is what are the causes of the sudden onset of symptoms. And what are sudden onset symptoms? So here passing, so here increased quantity of urine, so here weakness and nausea, and number third fainted while walking to the toilet, and number fourth you can see that so here sweating. So these are the causes of the sudden onset of the symptoms. So here, and these are also the side effects of the medicines furosemide and captopril. That's